Hey guys, I get a lot of questions about what supplements I'm taking, and I knew that whenever I did this video it was going to be a doozy because, as you can see, I'm taking a lot. And I'm not saying that all of these things are required, but I'm going to go over why I take each one, some of the benefits, and why it may be helpful for you. As you can see, there's a variety of brands here. So it's kind of for different reasons. I am with HD Muscle, which is awesome, and I love them, and I am in love with their products. You can see that I have Vita HD and Glyco HD right here, and I use those every day. But at being like a relatively new brand, they don't have all the other things I take yet. So as they come out with more products, I'll show you how I transition to using those over some of these other brands. But for now, a lot of these are Amazon brands, things that I still keep in every day. And some of these things are not exactly the same as I was taking during prep. So I'll go over why I'm taking each one, some of the benefits, and you can decide for yourself if it's something that you would want to try. As a disclaimer, I think it's really important to note that you need to focus on the big rocks first. If you don't know that phrase, I think another way to put it would be the broad strokes, but your nutrition and your training are going to be the most important factors affecting progress and from which you'll likely see the most results. Supplementation is icing on the cake. Some of these things are meant for more for health, some of them more for performance, and some of them are just a personal preference. For instance, I have a Pneuotropic Blend that I take. That's certainly not something that everyone needs or would want, but for me it helps me with focus and it helps me limit caffeine intake. So your supplement stack should reflect your personal goals and needs, and you need to decide if it's worth it and if your training and nutrition are already on point before you start adding in any of this stuff. So I'm going to go over each section of supplements now, and you can comment below any questions that you have or any other supplements that you're interested in taking. Just shoot a question below and I'll try to address them all. But let's get to it. Okay, so I made some notes on my supplements. I do know why I'm taking them, but I want to make sure that I give you the most accurate information possible. So if you see me glancing at my notes, that's what I'm doing. It's all for your benefit. The first thing I have in the morning when I first wake up is citrus bergamot, and I have 500 milligrams of that in the morning. Citrus bergamot is great. It has to be taken fasted, and it helps with glucose metabolism. So loss of insulin sensitivity is more common when you're eating a high carb diet. So you want to really help control that in as many ways as possible, as naturally as possible. So using something like citrus bergamot can help with that. It also helps with your HDL and LDL cholesterol. As you probably know, you want your HDL high and your LDL low. So this supplement also helps regulate your cholesterol levels, which are more commonly off both in diets of excess where you're eating a lot of food, and if you're taking any kind of supplement specific to bodybuilding, your cholesterol levels may be off a bit. Mine are naturally pretty high, so it's really important for me to supplement appropriately to keep them in check and to check lab levels. After I have citrus bergamot, a little bit later in the morning, I have my greens drink. So my greens drink is a mix of a bunch of random things. I've been told it tastes gross, but I think there's some tricks to making it taste good. So first off, I use ProjectAD's Grays. They have a really good greens blend in there. And what's really cool about the Grays is it not only contains superfoods, it also has a good mix of branched chain amino acids, and it has enzymes in it to help you digest the nutrients more effectively. I also add collagen protein to this, and collagen is made of specific amino acids, and these are broken down by your body but then because you have those amino acids supplied, you can actually use those to build your own collagen, which supports joints, different tissues in the body. So this is a great addition to just typical protein powder. I also add L-glutamine. Glutamine is something I've been using for a long time for gut health. This is just a brand that I got off Amazon, but HD does have Gluta HD, which I will be getting in the mail here shortly, and theirs is actually fermented, which is really cool. But glutamine is the most abundant amino acid in the body, and it helps transport nitrogen to different tissues, so it really plays a role in a lot of different bodily functions. But I do notice a pretty immediate difference with my gut health and digestion just by keeping it in daily. So that's my main focus with it. I also add L-Carnitine. L-Carnitine is usually in red meat, okay? It's an antioxidant and it transports things to the mitochondria for ATP or energy production. It can also help with insulin sensitivity and recovery and blood flow. Another thing that I've added recently is lion's mane, and I use this company Real Mushrooms after Ben Pakulski talked about it, because some companies only use the buds of the mushroom, but you really want to use the roots. So this is lion's mane, and it is very high quality. It is in a powder form. You can also purchase it in a pill form, but since I take so many pills and I already have a morning shake, I thought it would be easier to just throw some more powder in there. So the lion's mane is specifically for me for memory and focus. It's a neuroprotectant, an antioxidant, and can help with the immune function of the gut. It's something that I use in the morning, and I'm also interested to experiment with it pre-workout because it can kind of help with focus and that mental connection in the gym. In addition to these supplements, I add 2 ounces of apple cider vinegar, 2 ounces of aloe vera. The apple cider vinegar is really cool. It's kind of controversial as to how beneficial it is, but in general, apple cider vinegar tends to help with stomach acid production and potentially with insulin sensitivity. So it's been associated with weight loss in multiple studies, but it's always hard to determine whether or not the apple cider vinegar is causing the weight loss or if it's other changes. But in general, I like having it in. I keep it in my shake. I add some lemon to the shake as well. And then the aloe vera juice that I add is also for gut health. Interestingly enough, aloe vera juice also contains a variety of vitamins and minerals. So just this shake in general is just a nutrient powerhouse. And the last thing I add to this shake is Mitralogia Vitamin C. What's cool about this vitamin C is it's liposomal, which means that it's carried in a fat, so it's transported through the small intestine. It makes it through farther in the digestive system, so in theory more is absorbed. And I'll take a whole gram of vitamin C from this. So you can use a variety of different vitamin C's if you want, but I do really like this one. And the flavor is great. It goes really well with this mix. Pro tip, if you want this drink to taste good, I blend it with ice, and I'll also throw in some flavored aminos or a hydration powder that has a berry or citrus flavor, and it's fire. And those are things you can add in that are 0 calories, and if it's a hydration powder, it just contains some electrolytes, which we could all use more of anyways. So that's one option for making this drink more delicious. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the morning. So this stack specifically is my Pneuotropic Blend that I take twice a day. This is something I've been experimenting with lately to see how it helps with focus, and it was an attempt to substitute something for caffeine while still allowing me to get as much work done as possible. What's really cool about nootropics is they affect each of us differently, and there's different combinations of substances that are considered nootropic compounds. So nootropic substances act on the brain to enhance cognitive functions. That's the actual definition. Some of them are considered adaptogenic, which means they improve the body's response to stress. So what I noticed specifically from adding this in is just a calm sense of focus. As you know, I've mentioned Morphogen's product, Adaptogen, multiple times. It's one of my absolute favorites. I have 2 coming in the mail soon, but I also wanted to kind of play around with things on my own and see what works best for me, and if I could find something to use in addition to Adaptogen, since I can only use that about once a day due to the price and everything. So I bought these each individually, but you can also buy pre-mixed nootropic supplements. I just found that a lot of them are underdosed based on what's recommended, so you end up paying quite a bit more for a lower dose and only like 15 servings. So I thought I'd do this, kind of play around with it. What's really important to note about these is you need to stay within a healthy range for the dosages. So I would highly recommend doing your research before you add these in, only because some of them can affect neurotransmitters in a way that could cause like a negative buildup. If you've ever heard of serotonin syndrome, it's when you manipulate your serotonin levels and they become excessively high. You can have a lot of symptoms related to that, and it's pretty dangerous. So you need to dose these appropriately, and remember that with all supplements, usually more is not better. So, what is this stack? This stack is mixed of, and please forgive me for pronouncing this wrong, Bacopa monnieri, which helps with stress management, memory, and focus. L-theanine, relaxation without sedation, cognition, and focus. Rhodiola rosea, stress management, energy, and cognitive function. L-tyrosine, it actually helps with the production of dopamine, epinephrine, and norepinephrine, which are neurotransmitters. And it also can help support thyroid hormones, which is really important in my situation, this post-show period, getting the thyroid function up to par again. All of them can help with cognitive function. The last one is Cdp Choline, and that generates phosphatidylcholine from choline, which is another neurotransmitter. So all of them in combination are meant to help with focus, like work, productivity. They can help with performance. Some of them do help with blood flow. So I definitely feel a difference when I take them, which is really cool. The first day I took them, it was exactly like when I take Adaptogen. Just very focused, very calm, not overstimulated, but still energized. It's been really cool adding these in. Again, I do them in the morning, and then I do them pre-workout, which has been awesome. So this next set of supplements are what I take with my first meal. And these will be like the most significant in terms of stack size for the day. So after the morning supplements, things get a lot simpler, and I'm not taking 20 pills 6 times a day. With this first meal of the day, I do take this combination as well as Astragalus, which I have ordered, but I'm still waiting to receive. So Astragalus, it helps with immune function, it's anti-inflammatory, and it helps with kidneys. And it's actually been shown to reverse kidney damage, which is something that we really do have to consider as bodybuilders and anyone taking any kind of supplements that could damage the kidneys. In addition to that, I take Heart Plus from ProjectAD. We all need to support the health of our heart, and this supplement specifically is meant to help with circulation and heart health in general. It also contains vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Super K is by Life Extension, and that's a really interesting product. I had to do a lot of research on this one because vitamin K is pretty complicated, and it contains different forms of vitamin K. So in general, vitamin K helps with calcium balance, bone strength, artery health, clotting factors, heart health, and energy production. You can get vitamin K1 in green leafy vegetables, and that's why when people take warfarin, a blood thinner, they're told not to eat green leafy vegetables because it counteracts warfarin. And if you have issues with clotting or you taking any blood thinners, you should not be taking vitamin K. And you should also ask your doctor if it's okay to take fish oil, because fish oil will also thin the blood. So those are two that if you're on blood thinners, you need to talk to your doctor. And if you're going to have a procedure, you should also talk to your doctor and make sure that it's okay to keep taking them, or at least figure out when you need to come off of them prior to your procedure. Nurse notes. Another thing I take is vitamin D3, and I take a high dose of this, 10,000 IUs. I've done some research, and having listened to Dr. Gabriel Lyon talk about vitamin D deficiencies, how common they are in the US, and how beneficial vitamin D is in the body, and the symptoms we can experience in deficiencies, even symptoms related to hormones, because vitamin D affects hormones. So it is really important to supplement with this, especially if you're in an area where you're not getting a lot of sunlight. And even if you are in an area with a lot of sunlight and you're spending a lot of time indoors, it's probably a good idea. I'm also taking fish oil, and I'm taking Viva Naturals brand. Another good brand is Nordic Naturals. So as a lot of us know, fish oil is very high in omega-3s. So that is specifically for heart health, and there's a lot of benefits to taking fish oil. The research shows it's anti-inflammatory, it helps with muscle protein synthesis, reduce soreness and enhance recovery, insulin sensitivity, and cardiac function, as well as helping with cholesterol levels. Like we talked about earlier, you want your HDL high and your LDL low, and fish oil contributes to healthier HDL levels, which is very beneficial for bodybuilders and people in general, regardless of your fitness status. So fish oil is one of the top supplements I would recommend taking for pretty much anyone, unless you have a contraindication. My all-in-one encompassing supplement is Vita HD, and this is such an awesome multivitamin. And one reason I love it, actually a lot of reasons I love it, is because it's not just a multivitamin. It contains all your vitamins, minerals, everything like that. But it also contains cordyceps, which is a mushroom that I actually bought from that same company, Real Mushrooms, which can help with blood flow and performance. So that's actually in Vita HD, as well as ashwagandha, which was something I was taking separately for cortisol management. It also contains some of the compounds that I have in my nootropic stack. So when I added this in, I actually decreased the dosages of what I was taking in my stack, because there are several of them in here. This also contains turmeric, so I was able to stop taking that separately. 5-HTP and ubiquinol. So it contains a lot of things, but I was really excited to find out that this is really more than just a multivitamin. It is your go-to, pretty much all-encompassing health product. And if you're going to start with any supplements, I would start with fish oil and Vita HD. And probably vitamin D. Just saying. Although this does contain vitamin D3. Not as high as a dose as this, but if you're trying to simplify, start with those two. Other things I take, and these are with other meals in the day besides just meal one. Digestive enzymes. Digestive enzymes are game changers for digestion. It's not just when you're eating a lot of food, because sometimes when you're not eating much food, your digestion will slow, and it becomes really hard to have bowel movements and just keep things moving in general. Your body's not partitioning the same amount of nutrients and energy for digestion during that time, so you need the support. And when you are eating a lot, your body needs more support because it's trying to process a crap ton of food. So digestive enzymes, these are just ones that I got off Amazon, and I've tried a few different brands, and these seem to be my favorite in terms of Amazon brands. but I will say that Ravenous by ProjectAD is top notch and definitely one I would recommend. And I'm looking forward to HD possibly releasing a digestive enzyme in the future. Another thing that I take with meal one as well as my other carb meals during the day is Glyco HD. So Glyco HD is a GDA supplement, a glucose disposal agent. So a glucose disposal agent helps your body break down nutrients and distribute them appropriately in the body. You want to shuttle carbs into the muscle for glycogen storage and to increase insulin sensitivity. If your blood sugar is high all the time, then your insulin is going to be high all the time to try to combat it, and that's when you become insulin insensitive. So using something like a GDA is awesome because it helps your body, in addition to your body's natural insulin, to shuttle the nutrients where they're supposed to go, keep the blood sugar controlled so there's not massive spikes and then prolonged periods of blood sugar staying high. So this serving size is 2 capsules, so you can do 2 capsules with breakfast, and then maybe post-workout would be a good option, or you could do it post-workout if you work out in the morning, and then with one of your carb-loaded evening meals. So usually 2 or 3 times a day is when I take it. What's also cool about Glyco HD is it contains amylase, which helps with digestion in general. So in addition to the digestive enzymes, which amylase is an enzyme, having this in works with digestive enzymes to break down your food more efficiently. So this may appear to be my most dramatic stack, but this is my pre, intra, and post-workout garden of goodness. So these are all my HD muscle products. Some of my favorites. There are several more that I have ordered and haven't received yet, so I can't show you them yet, but I will go ahead and show you these. So before I work out, I take a pre-workout. Even though I'm working on caffeine, it's just who I am. Pre-workout is required. However, if you want one that's not caffeinated, you can get the HD Elite, and this is more nootropic based and it's non-stim. So you get the same benefits like focus, performance, blood flow as the ones with caffeine without the jitters. Granted, my favorite, being a caffeine freak, is the Ultra, and this is the Rocket Pop flavor. I love the blend of it because it isn't overly stimulating, and the amount of caffeine in it is 137 milligrams, which really isn't that much. I mean, like a Monster I think is like 150, so this isn't more stimulating than an energy drink, but I feel like it has more like a focused feeling, and that is because it contains a lot of the same substances as my Nootropic stack. So again, I was able to decrease or even take out my nootropics pre-workout on some days because I use this instead. So this one is great. It does contain creatine. It also contains a pump blend. So pump, performance, focus. It's amazing. I love it. Then intra-workout, I do have EAAs. This is the intra-workout, the Intra HD. There is one that has just a free-form EAAs that contains amino 9, which is the essential amino acids. They're like fermented, so it's a really great blend. But this one's great because it not only has the amino 9 in it, but it also contains Peak O2, which is a mushroom blend for performance and blood flow. And it also contains coconut water powder for coconut water powder for hydration of the muscles. And hydrated muscles function more effectively. So this is an awesome blend. I would probably recommend this over the just plain EAAs because of the benefits of everything else in there. I mix that with Carb HD, which is a carb product, as you would imagine, and it contains cluster dextrin, which is highly branched cyclic dextrin, as well as Carb 10, which is a pea starch. And I've written down the difference between these two. The cyclic dextrin is really easily absorbed, whereas the carb 10 is a low glycemic carb source and helps with sustained energy over the workout. So by having this blend of different carbs that are broken down at different rates, you have immediate energy and sustained energy, so you're not jittery, blood sugar is not just spiked off the bat. You have the sustained energy throughout the workout. So you begin that muscle repair process and refilling the glycogen stores even while you're working out. This is something that I did take out during prep because I just did not have the carbs for it. But now that I have it back in, I feel such a difference during my workouts. Other products. These are the ProjectAD grass-fed whey protein isolate. So good. I love these proteins. The one I have not tried yet is the vanilla, but I also have chocolate, blueberry muffin, and peanut butter chocolate. They're all really good. It's hard to say my favorite, but the blueberry is fire. So I really, really like these proteins. They're very easily digested. I love that it's grass-fed whey, and it also contains a blend of enzymes, digestive enzymes. So if you have trouble digesting lactose, these would likely be a good option for you because they are partially broken down and your digestion is supported when you take them. So I've found that I have no GI discomfort with them. They mix really well both to drink and to cook. So overall, big win from HD for releasing these recently. So last but not least, my evening supplement stack, which I take about an hour before my last meal. I will have citrus bergamot, 500 milligrams again at this point. Again, that's for insulin sensitivity and cholesterol management. But I'm also taking Thyro Boost and Estragort, both by New Ethics. So these are specifically added because I am in a post-contest period. Because we need to support the thyroid. After a contest, your thyroid is downregulated due to the decreased intake and just stress on the body. So making sure that you support the thyroid to recover, and then getting lab work done to ensure that your levels are normal is really, really important. So I'm taking one of these in the evening, and then I'm taking 2 Estracorts. This is great post-contest, but there's many other situations where you may need to take this to help regulate estrogen levels, depending on different medical conditions and how long you've been dieting, or a variety of situations. Hormones are pretty complicated, so it's hard to say when exactly this would be necessary, but in general, any condition or time period when your estrogen is high and you need to control it, this is a good option. So these contain some natural supplements. The Thyro Boost has some vitamins and minerals, as well as bovine thyroid. So that's something to consider if you are vegan. Probably not a good idea. Sorry. The Estragort contains calcium and zinc, as well as DIM, ashwagandha, rhodiola, which was one of my nootropic supplements, and boron and holy basil. So you can tell they're just like natural supplements, but a lot of things that we have naturally can support our hormone and organ function, as well as prescription medications. So it's really important to make sure that you talk to your doctor about whatever you're taking, to make sure that any medications aren't going to interact with any supplements, and make sure that you're not duplicating anything. So if you add in a new supplement and it has a mix of things in it, make sure you're not taking those things independently in other supplements. Just because some vitamins do build up, and you might have some interactions between things if you're not paying attention to everything that you have added. I also take a probiotic, and this is for the gut microbiome, microflora. Probiotics are controversial, but I do like having them in. I feel like it helps with my digestion, and I take it with these on an empty stomach about an hour before my last meal. And this is a company called 1MD. My coach highly recommends it as a high quality probiotic, which is super important. If you're going to get one, make sure it is good quality. Last supplement of the day, I take Fiber Plus by ProjectAD. This contains psyllium husk and pectin, green banana powder, and fibersol 2, as well as a probiotic digestive blend with actually a couple probiotic strands in it. Not as many as this, but still supports digestion. It's better than just Metamucil because it does contain those other things in it. And this is great to add in for digestive support. And a lot of times, whether you're in a contest prep diet where food in general is very low, or you're eating a lot of food where food is high and it's difficult to get a good variety of vegetables, I think fiber is a really important supplement to add to help with digestion and bowel regularity. A lot of times we don't have really high fiber meals because fiber slows down digestion and nutrient absorption. So we can't access the carbs that we take in as quickly when we buffer our meals with a ton of fiber. And because the fiber slows things down, it can really start to affect digestion in a negative way throughout the day when you're trying to get in 5, 6 plus meals a day. So adding in a fiber supplement at night is a way to kind of catch up with your fiber intake, support your digestion, and it also usually helps stimulate like a bowel movement the next day, which is great, especially in a prep situation. So guys, that is it for what supplements am I taking. I'm sure that I'll be adding things in the future, taking things out, experimenting with new things, and definitely sharing with you new HD products that come out. I really appreciate you guys for listening, and I hope this was helpful. And I just want to encourage you to remember that supplements do not ultimately determine your success in this sport or any other. Supplements are meant to supplement a good training and diet program. So make sure you focus on the big rocks first, and then you add these in as icing on the cake. I hope you guys have a great day. Please comment below any questions you have, any comments, anything you'd like to see, and I will answer them as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment below.